let's get right to the content of today's episode. Now, have you ever stopped and thought about where we are in the election cycle? And specifically, have you ever wondered how politicians can really get away with making absolutely insane things sound normal? Well, it's something called Overton's window. Joshua Trevino broke Overton's window down into 4 steps: unthinkable, radical, acceptable, sensible, popular, and policy. Those are the 6 steps. So just think about how any of the changes have happened in our culture over the last decades, and you'll see that most of them could not have even been said out loud 100 years ago. What? A tax on our income? No way. We are the land of the free. We will throw perfectly good tea into Boston's harbor before we'll be taxed. Social Security? Unthinkable. We prepare for our own financial future. I'll take my paycheck and invest it in the stock market? Are you nuts? I'll save that money and make sure it's there for me when I go to look for it. These are all examples: taxes, Social Security, investing with your paycheck. Those are all examples of the unthinkable becoming the obvious. When the window shifts over time, it usually happens incrementally. Noam Chomsky, a political thinker, said in 1988 that the smart way to keep people passive and obedient is to strictly limit their spectrum of acceptable opinions, but allow for lively debate within that spectrum. Even encourage the more critical and dissident views. This will give the masses the sense that there is free thinking going on, while all the while the presuppositions of the system are going to be reinforced by the limits and the range of the debate. Whew, end quote. That's quite a dark quote, but that really gets to the point of Overton's window. So the basic notion of the Overton window in politics is, regardless of what the politician might believe personally, there are going to be limits on what he or she can get away with in the public arena. That window of opportunity is only open so far as the public at large is willing to accept. So this could be the limits put in place by those who want to stay in power. But to be honest, I think Overton rightly points to the window being largely driven by culture itself. We could argue vehemently about how well the Chicago Bears are doing this year or what they did last night on cable news, but regardless, we're going to do things in small incremental steps. So think for a moment about Mad Libs. Mad Libs, and why they're so funny. Here's one I found just searching around on the internet. Quote, I enjoy long, honky walks on the beach, getting assaulted in the rain, and serendipitous encounters with walruses. I really like pina coladas mixed with compost and romantic candlelit Frenchmen. I am well read from Dr. Seuss to Vlad the Impaler. I travel frequently, especially to Transylvania when I'm not busy with work. I love Mad Libs. They're one of my favorite pastimes. I believe Mad Libs work because they temporarily disassociate us with Overton's window. It allows the 11-year-old in all of us, and real 11-year-olds, without really trying all that hard, the chance to replace a predictable pattern with very unpredictable results. This creates a profound non sequitur. It's the funniest thing you're going to hear all afternoon. It's great. I love Mad Libs. But if you were to put all of us in a room together and tell us to write a story so funny we'd all crack up laughing, we would have a very difficult time writing that story. It would never have happened. But Mad Libs has sold 102 million copies since it first launched back in 1952. So something works. Something is deep in the human psyche if it's been successful for that long. So if I was to tell you right now to shout out a noun, you might say the word tomato. Or if you were really trying to be silly, you might say Bigfoot. But all of those answers are defensible and well within that Overton window spectrum. But if I was to tell you to think of a brand new, never before imagined mythical creature that did not obey the laws of physics, you might have a lot of trouble just even wrapping your mind around how to answer that question. So we all believe at some level that we're at least a little bit creative. And at the same time, we also want to be understood and accepted. Now, those are two tensions that sometimes are at war with each other. And those two tensions keep us within the acceptable range of Overton's window. What's considered acceptable? Creativity and approval keep us in the Overton window. We don't want to be ridiculed. We don't want to go outside the boundaries. So we only accept what's acceptable. We take that 401k because it's what we're supposed to do, because it's what we do around here. But for the truly not so average revolutionary ones among us, doing something just beyond what we're supposed to do just might create what delta we need to go from the life we have to the life we truly want. So it doesn't take genius. It just takes guts to do something just a little bit different. To say that you may not know how to create a brand new financial life built outside the realm of what's mainstream, but you do know how to listen to a podcast to get an idea and crucially put that idea into practice.